And yet if some had begun to think after the killing of Osama bin Laden that we could now sit back and relax a little, there was a recent arrest in my state, in the hometown of my colleague, Senator Paul, of 2 foreign fighters who have openly admitted to conducting attacks against U.S. soldiers and Marines in Iraq, and that shows how misshapen the notice is. We owe a debt of gratitude to the men and women who made sure they couldn't inflict more harm on Americans here or abroad once they arrived here. Anyone who has read about the investigation into their activities can only be impressed with the courage, the skill, and the professionalism of those who were involved in this effort. Specifically, I want to thank the men and women from the FBI's Louisville Division, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Kentucky, the Louisville Joint Terrorism Task Force, and the Justice Department's National Security Division. Every one of those folks involved clearly did their job, and they did it very well. Pure and simple, and should be treated like one. They should be hunted and captured, detained and interrogated, and tried away from civilian populations according to the laws of war. Unfortunately, since the earliest days of this administration, when the President signed a series of executive orders which directed the closing of the military detention facility at Guantanamo Bay and limited the ability of the military and intelligence community to detain and interrogate prisoners, a higher priority has been placed upon prosecution than on executing the war on terror. But I can say with certainty that Kentuckians don't want foreign fighters who bragged about killing and maiming U.S. soldiers in a combat theater treated like common criminals in their own backyards. Sending them to Gitmo is the only way to ensure that they will not enjoy all the rights and privileges of U.S. citizens. Sending them to Gitmo is the only way we can be certain there won't be retaliatory attacks in Kentucky. How would you like to be the judge in this case? How would you like to be the jurors in this case? Do they run the risk of being targets for the rest of their lives? Are they in a sort of witness protection program indefinitely? Why should we subject U.S. citizens to this kind of risk? Sending them to Gitmo is the only way we can prevent Kentuckians from having to cover the cost and having to deal with the disturbance and disruptions that would come with a civilian trial. And sending them to Gitmo is the best way to ensure that they get what they deserve. And so today I'm calling on the administration to change course. Get these men out of Kentucky. Send them to Guantanamo where they belong. Get these terrorists out of the civilian system. Get them out of our backyards and give them the justice they deserve. Madam President, I yield the floor.